everyone, and welcome to episode 4. Make sure you are subscribing on whatever platform you are listening on. So, this episode, we are going to be talking about over gifting and why over gifting just absolutely sucks. So, over gifting is basically non consensual gifts. It is giving people more than what they ask for or need. It could be gift bombing them with tons of gifts. It could be gifting them with some really expensive things that someone doesn't want. The key here is that they do not want this gift or they do not appreciate it. And over gifting is kind of a weird thing to talk about because it gets confused with being ungrateful. And if you've never experienced being the recipient of an overgifter, it's really easy to brush it off as something that's not a problem. Like, just take the gift. They're just being nice. Their intention is nice. Just accept it. It's fine. But it's like, but is their intention nice though? Is it? Because a lot of the times it's just really not. There is a huge difference in the culture where you grew up and how you're going to respond to this, especially in America, Northern culture versus Southern culture. There's a really big difference in how people respond to it. But let's talk about why someone might not want a gift. So, first of all, depending on what it is, they honestly might not have space to store it. Or maybe they have a bunch of the same things. And that a lot of the times, over gifting comes for kids. It is relatives that overgift for kids. It's generally not for the adults. And the issue with overgifting for kids is that until kids are really 7, 8, sometimes even 10 years old, gifts are really for the parents, not the kid. It's something that the kid wants, but it's really what the parent needs in order to help the parent out with making them purchase less and something that the kid is actually going to appreciate. So, things like clothes or shoes or gift cards when they're younger to go buy diapers. Is that technically for the kid? No, it's not really for the baby. It's for the parent to help the parent out with what the child actually needs because the parents know what the kid is actually going to need and want and play with. And that brings up another huge issue with overgifting for a child. There's a really large possibility that the kid is not going to want the gift that you're giving them, especially if you are not around that kid a lot because you just don't know. Kids change what they want on a week to week, month to month basis, sometimes even sooner than that. My daughter used to be obsessed with Paw Patrol. And not anymore. And just like that. But if I had talked to you 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and the only thing you heard me talk about was how she liked Paw Patrol, and then you didn't follow up with me, and you bought her something Paw Patrol, she wouldn't still want it, but you wouldn't know that. We need to take away the guilt with not liking the gift because it's okay to hate a gift. It is. This is something that's more taboo to say because it doesn't mean that you're not grateful for them trying to get you something, but the thing itself that they got you don't have to like it. It can be a horrible gift. Some people are just not good at giving gifts. They just do not have that gift of gift giving. And overgifting is such a waste of money and resources. Overgifting always comes with a larger price tag, whether it is that they bought a lot of little things or that they splurged on some really, really expensive items. And this is the part of overgifting that always gets me because that money and the resource of your time, researching it, going and getting it, sending the gift out, bringing the gift over, how could that have been used better than a gift that wasn't fully appreciated the way that you meant it? Could it have been donated? Could there have been something better for the world that your gift could have done? Could there have been a bill that was paid with that money? How better could you have used that resource instead of giving the overgift? And then after the initial awkwardness of receiving a gift and overgifts that you don't like, what are you supposed to do with it? And this depends on how ballsy you are and how close in physical proximity the person is to you that got you the gift. If you see them often and you want to keep a good relationship with the person, you are probably going to be keeping the things around a little bit more unless you're super ballsy and just throw the things out. How are you able to be respectful but stop them from overgifting? Because there is not a single person that I've ever talked to about overgifting that has never said anything, which is where the boundaries issue comes in. People that are recipients of overgifting are always saying something about it. They'll bring it up in a really respectful manner, hey, here's what we could use. And then they'll sometimes give direct links and lists Amazon lists of, hey, this is what would be really useful. This is what, my kid would like. This is what I would like. This is what we would prefer. We have too much of this, or just, hey, we're not doing any gifts at all. And then what does the overgifter do? They push past that boundary that this person is saying, no, thank you, I would not like this, and they're giving it anyway. Who's the gift supposed to be for? When we're looking at the purpose of a gift, the purpose of a gift is generally to show someone that we're thinking about them, we appreciate them, and we care about them, and we love them, right? A lot of people show this through gifts. But if someone's telling you that they don't want something, and then you're going ahead and purchasing it anyways, that is directly pushing their boundary of what they just set up for you. That is not caring about them at all. That's you wanting to do what you want and projecting it onto this other person who doesn't want what they're giving them. Sometimes this is a deliberate thing where people are doing this and they just honestly don't care. And sometimes it's more subconscious than this, and it can stem from things like guilt for being away from a really long time, or not really being there for them, or not really knowing what to do. So just, oh, well, let me just make it up in gifts and let me just get them a bunch of stuff that I think would be nice. But just as a general thing in life, if someone is telling you, no, I don't want this, you immediately should be listening to them. There should be no pushback on that. But I think this would be really nice, but I would really like to give you this. Because all it's going to do is put strain on the relationship that this person has to you, and it makes it really awkward. And in a lot of cases, it can make them actually dread opening your gift. And that's probably not the reaction that you want someone to have when they're opening a gift for you. You want them to be excited with the potential to be surprised with a nice gift, not opening it dreadful, knowing that you're probably going to hate the gift or gifts that they put in there. And it is really hard to mend a relationship sometimes, to get over this when people just consistently keep over gifting, and no matter what you say. And I think as a culture, we're kind of more moving towards a minimalistic gift culture where more people are saying, where more people, if they don't actually need something, and like diapers or clothes for their kids or something for themselves, like let's say a wedding or a birthday, a lot of people are moving towards, hey, just give a gift card, or no gifts, you can bring a book for the party or donate to such and such, or just nothing. As a culture, I think we're just so overwhelmed with so much stuff, and especially with kids, because kids come with an incredible amount of stuff. If you have seen my basement clean out videos on TikTok, that is only about 6 years of stuff, and it's an entire basement full of boxes and just random things that you accumulate, and it just goes tenfold with kids. So it's no surprise that with the ease of things now, like Amazon Prime delivery and Target pickup and all of these things, that makes it really easy for us to get stuff, that now we have too much stuff because it's made so easy to get everything and then keep on to it. So unless we're setting hard boundaries for what we're getting into our house, we're going to end up with way too much stuff. People who are over gifting, a lot of the times they're not going to see that, right? They're not in your basement seeing how much stuff you have. They don't look in your kid's closet and see how many clothes they have or how many toys they have. So it ends up them just having to trust you that you're telling them, hey, we have too much stuff. And then they just have to go, oh, okay, you do have too much stuff, because they're not seeing it. And this is a hard concept for people sometimes, because they can just go, oh, they can just have one more. It's fine. But it's not fine. You set that boundary up. Overgifting is just such a weird experience, and it's such a weird thing to talk about, because a lot of people, again, think that it's you just being ungrateful. But it's not you being ungrateful, it's somebody pushing your boundary when you said, no, I would not like this. It would be just the same thing as if you ate a really full meal, and then someone came over and tried to shove a double hamburger in your mouth. Even though you've said you don't want it a million times, and it's technically nice because they were giving you food, you just don't want it. So there should be no guilt and no shame attached to that. So have you ever dealt with an overgifter? Have you found it conflicting how to address it? Has it actually been addressed in a positive manner? Because that's the one that I'd really like to hear about. Let me know at Surrender to the Suck podcast. And thank you for listening to the 4th episode, and come back next week for episode 5.